Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Invasion stream, week 26, day 7. Though of course we're done with most of the weekly stuff, I think all we mainly need to do is maybe do a little bit of PvP, but primarily of course, still trying to get those last 2 Nyshas. We got one the other night, but we still need 2 more, so still in the hunt for that, as that would be very nice once we finally have that for the plus 12 magic bonus. Other than that though, let's get into some of the spoilers for next week of course, since we are going to be getting several things. First thing off, we're actually going to go over the weapon here. This is the weapon that will be available through the Dooms. It is going to be doing a scatter damage, then creates a mix of yellows and skulls based on yellow enemy. This is very similar to the previous one that we just ended up getting about, what was it, about a month ago. So these are going to be pretty bad. Just because their scatter damage isn't really going to be that much, and they're going to be rather inconsistent as a double spawner compared to a double convert. Double converts work a lot better because you can try aligning 2 different alignments, whereas double spawners do not work as good simply because the 2 gems can override each other. So for example, in yellows and skulls here, the skulls can overwrite yellow and the yellow can overwrite skulls, which makes it obviously not work as well. I wonder if they'll ever recode them so it doesn't overlap the color that it also creates for all the doubles, in which case all the double weapons will become quite substantially stronger and stuff like that, as well as several troops. However, with how the game currently is, they tend to not be as good compared to double converts and just simply spawning one single color to the board. So this Doom weapon, similar to last month's Doom weapon, is likely going to be relatively useless. Still, the only good Doom weapons in the game are the 6 ones that create specifically Doom skulls off of a full AoE damage. Those are the only Doom weapons that are relevant in any way, shape, or form for the most part. But anyways, let me go get the next image up. Let's see, what do we have here? Where'd the other one go? Oh no, which one is which? Hold up. This one should be the right one. No, it isn't. This one's the right one. Let's see. Let me go scale this thing to actually be fitting. Oh gosh, this is so large because I scaled the other one up. Oh no, I locked it too, so I can't even move it. 1 second. Oh no. Image. Technical difficulties. Let's see. So that was completely my fault why I did it like that, because I ended up making it bigger rather than just separating it into its own thing. 1 second. We got this. Boom, there we go. Anyways, so Gravitas, it is going to be a White Helm event, of course, next week. It ends up dealing damage to an enemy. If the enemy is undead or daemon, it drains all of their mana and curses them. So another one of those things that kind of only counter a specific typing. This is probably not going to be too good since undead and daemon are rather bad in the current state of the game. Neither of them are particularly meta, particularly undead, which is extremely bad. At least daemons in the past used to be semi-meta, though in the current state of the game, both of them are rather useless and almost never used. It does have 40% score reduction. It is an epic, so you will be able to stock up on yellow blues. But other than that, nothing really too good going for it, so not much to really see there or be able to use, unfortunately. It's probably going to give extra glory or something next week, but overall, just not really going to be worth it. Other than that, of course, we have a new Mythic coming out next Friday. Where did the image go? There it is. This one's pretty vertical, so this one might not fit perfectly. I might actually need to enlarge it quite a bit just so we could see it part by part. Let's see if we do it like this and just make it super big, but then just go part by part. Okay, so this is a Shabanu. Vespera is her name. She is a mythic from Drifting Sands, an elemental mystic. She's very similar to that one Wish troop that is underneath the kingdom. That tends to be pretty useless, but it's they basically made a different version of her. As far as what the ability does, it deals gives magic divided by 2 plus 1 to a random skill to an ally, then creates 9 gems of their mana color, and that makes a lot of sense. What that does, that just on its own isn't really that useful. However, what I'm slightly confused by is the second part of this, because no troop has the same wording. Then repeat 2 more times for random allies. So by this, I assume it means you're going to give one target ally a random stats gain based on a magic divided by 2 plus 1, and then it is going to do the 9 gem spawn as well. But it's then going to also target 2 other random allies on your team. We don't currently know if all 3 of these will happen simultaneously, or if this one happens first and then the other 2 go, or how exactly it works. We also don't know if the random ones can target the one you already targeted, which it should be able to, because random normally means anything on your team. So basically how you would use this is you would do this on the troop that you would want to have the color on. For example, maybe Mountain Crusher, so you guarantee get brown and get a random skill into your tank there. Then the other two will hit randomly. So those other two could hit the one that you already targeted, or they could hit something completely random. But yeah, this troop is very, very strange. One nice benefit that it might have is it can do magic gain. It has a 1 in 4 chance of magic gain, so to a random ally. So that's 3 separate chances of gaining magic. So pretty good chance that you might end up gaining magic from this thing, similar to that of humility. I feel like its mana cost is going to be a bit too high though. And if it does all 3 of those spawns simultaneously, it'll be the first triple gem spawner in the game, which is bad. That's not a good thing. That is actually completely a bad thing, because as I just mentioned a little bit earlier, colors do overlap each other when they are spawned onto the board. So if it's creating, let's say, green, yellow, and blue, when it ends up doing its spawn, it's 3 9s. All 3 of those 9s can overwrite each other, meaning the chance of you getting an extra turn is actually less than if you were to just like spawn 12 of a single gem onto a board. So it's going to be a really, really weird troop and probably completely useless, especially because of what its unique trait is. Its unique trait is a 30% chance to summon a Dijin, which is that one weird wishing troop that has always been 100% useless from the kingdom whenever it does an extra turn. So there really isn't any redeeming quality from this mythic, and I would highly advise skipping it, as it is probably one of the worst mythics we've gotten all year. We'll have to see exactly how the ability ends up functioning, but from what we can tell, it seems like it's going to be completely useless, and do not even bother getting it. The kingdom already has a mythic, if I'm not mistaken, or it definitely does. Wait, what is the mythic of Drifting Sands? I need to go double check, because I'm pretty sure whatever mythic is in Drifting Sands right now, even if it's not that good, is probably better. I believe it's Scorpius. So yeah, just go for Scorpius instead. Even if Scorpius isn't as meta, or, you know, becomes less meta, it's still better than that thing. So let me go double check. What is the other Drifting Sands mythic? I believe it's Scorpius. I almost guarantee. Let's see, double check. But yeah, you might as well just get Scorpius, even if it's not meta anymore. Right now it's really meta, but there's a good chance it won't be very soon. Yeah, it's Scorpius. So yeah, just get Scorpius instead. If you had to choose between Scorpius or that new mythic, it is definitely Scorpius. You won't be able to get him for probably another month or two if you didn't already get him a few weeks ago, because he was just in Soulforge. Yeah, definitely if you're looking to get a Drifting Sands mythic, go for Scorpius and not for the new one that's coming this Friday, as the new one is relatively bad. And that's pretty much everything we're getting next week. Wednesday, we just have a Peace Pigeon. Tuesday, we just have the Mirrored Halls. Also, first time Mirrored Halls has been around since its release, so if you wanted to go farm it or something, it is the best farming faction in the game, comparable to that of City of Thieves. So if you wanted to farm it a bit, it is available. And other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all that's happening. And Thursday, we'll get a class event for, oh gosh, I forget what it was. I believe it was Priest class. I actually completely forgot. But whatever it is isn't too relevant. But, yeah, nothing really too much. Just we're getting the Monday events and then new mythic on Friday, and the new mythic's just going to be useless. That's pretty much what's going to be happening. So, we actually have 150 green kill today. Oh, we also got mythic, well, I end up getting it. This is actually random per person. But, this isn't. A bunch of shards to help stock up for when we get a new faction. New faction is not this Friday, but the following Friday. So not this week's Friday, but next week's Friday is when we're going to be getting a new faction. But anyways, let's go kill these out, run this team, then run into Key and be good to go. Oops, that's not the team I want. Oh, yes, actually, yes, that is the Key team I want. Never mind. Also, hello, everyone. I didn't even say all the hellos. Hope all of you have had a wonderful weekend and holiday. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Jellybean. Hello, Birdleaf. Hello, Clarence. Hello, Humberto. Hello, James. Hello, Gamora. Hello, Lucien. Hello, William. Hello, Wow. Hello, DeCrail. Hello, James. Hello, Mobarashi. Yeah, it does 27 gem spawn. However, you have to keep in mind that those gem spawns can overlap each other. So if it creates, though that wouldn't happen if it creates the same colors. So I think the strategy for the troop might be, this might sound really strange, but it might be to use 3 troops that all use the same color with it and just build around that. So what I mean by that is literally just one color. So if you end up using that mythic, maybe use like 3 browns on your team. So you can use Mountain Crusher in first and then 2 others and kind of go from there. But using troops to have just one single color might be the best strategy for the upcoming mythic. And maybe not even brown, maybe using one of its own colors, like yellow, so you could end up feeding into it, put it into your second slot, and let do like a humility into her, and then let all of the excess go into that, and then use 2 big yellow damages behind it. However, I guess one of them would have to be a different color, like a mythic or something that uses 3 colors. But the main reason I say a single color is if you could get her to 27 gem spawn the same color, that is going to be insanely powerful. Even if you could just get her to 18 gem spawn the same color, even with 9 overriding the colors on the board, that's still pretty solid. The only problem is you would have to have a lot of the same color on your team, which would hinder the team a little bit. But yeah, in that regard, it could actually potentially have some usefulness. However, other than Guild Wars and maybe Tower of Doom, there is essentially no instance where you'd bother running a team that has that much of the same color. And by same color, I mean like literally only using one color each. Like the maximum number of colors on your team needs to be like 4, if even that. Because you need to make sure that you get as much of the same color as you possibly can. So that ideally all 3 of her gem spawns trigger on the same color. Because if they are triggering on 3 different colors, her ability is going to be useless. But assuming they can overlap on the same color, that's actually not going to be too bad now that I think about it. Though that's going to be very rare, the kind of teams that you would use with it. However, we are getting new Guardian troops next patch. And given that the next patch is probably in another week or 2, she might be viable in a week or 2. She might not be viable immediately, but there's a good chance that with the Guardian troops, plus the old Guardian troops, plus like a Mythic and last slot, you could go something like, let's say, Humility, her, some kinds of other single color yellow, like the new Guardian, and then just a really big yellow mythic of some kind, like an Infernus or something that can upscale specifically with magic, and just run it like that and see what happens. Like, that's the closest you can build her to a viable team. Though all those parts don't exist yet, but they will soon. Soon, TM. But anyways, hello, Drock. Hello, Viper. Hello, Heedy. And hello, everyone else who didn't say hello. Welcome. Anyways, let's get into things. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. Of course, we'll have the event video out sometime tomorrow. Still need to cover the class too. I'm probably going to cover the class video as more like a Warlord / Slayer. Because Warlord's basically the exact same thing. If you have Warlord, you might as well just use Warlord. There's almost no substantial difference. Like there is between stuff like Plague Lord and Titan and stuff like that. Like those are both really Titan-like, but they're distinct enough to have different uses. But Warlord and what's his name? Slayer are basically the exact same thing with like ever so subtle differences. And most of the subtle differences actually make Slayer worse, not better. The only thing that Slayer has that makes it a little bit better is that it has freeze. However, its bleed and lifesteal makes it worse. Though you do have the option of not using lifesteal, of course. Let's see. Any idea how to help Outlander? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Oh, sorry, Outlander was asking a question. My bad. You're installed with... Sorry, what was Outlander saying? My bad. I completely skipped over your thing. You have a question. Recently, you decided to use your Windows 7 PC to access Steam for Gems of War, but error message and can't log in. Any idea how to solve this problem? I do not, unfortunately. I don't believe there's any kind of legacy mode for Gems of War, so it is possible that older operating systems will not work. Because the game does keep, like they switched over to Unity a while back. I don't think they dropped Windows 7 when they switched over to Unity, when they ended up doing that like 2-3 years ago. But there is a possibility that they might have dropped support for it. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the easiest way to get an answer to that would be to ask on the forum and or send a support ticket to gemsofwar.com underneath support. I can go get you the link for that. 1 second. Let me go find where that is. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for, let's go to Gems of War forum, or just Gems of War website, click over to support, click on submit a request. Here we go. And here's the form that you need to go fill out. Apparently they initially just have a drop-down menu, and then it brings up a bunch of other things. Yeah, that's how they have it now. Okay, so let me go back to this. Here you go. So go do one here, and just keep filling out the field. It'll first say what type of issue are you having, and then just keep answering stuff. Let's see, where is my chat? Where'd it go? There it is. But there you go. Try sending a support ticket there. You might also want to make a forum post. But right there would contact support directly for Gems of War. We'll go take that. But yeah, the support team's pretty good for Gems of War. Sometimes they get pretty swamped, and there is a new patch coming out soon, so definitely get that in before the patch. Because they're going to get like 1 billion once next patch comes out. But yeah, next patch still is another week or 2 away or so you still have time. You should likely be able to get to your ticket before that even happens. Because normally around the times of new patches, they're swamped for like days on end as far as their support team, because they get so many around that time. Either because of bugs or because of any number of issues that might happen with a patch. What guild am I in? Dragon's Peak. We ended up making it several years ago, and we're still in it. I ended up switching guilds a bunch when I was prior to ever making a guild, and I was like, wait, why don't I just make my own guild? And then we did one month. Oops. Also, why am I using this against this? Also, how are we losing against that? There's several problems that are going on here. Also, we're just doing these battles. Why don't I just retreat and switch to a proper team? That is not the team I want. I want a key team. That's where I normally keep my key team, which is why I instinctually clicked there. But I forgot I moved it because I was doing Scorpius farming with it earlier in Explore. This is the team I meant to use. Much better. And it farms a bunch of gold. Oh, I could just grab the skull there. Oh well, let's go for that and then kill the key. Or skull, that works too. How are we 1 mana short? Luckily we didn't need it that time. You made a mistake dumping all your gold into legendary tasks. Yeah, you generally don't want to do that if you're still trying to upgrade kingdoms. Well, New Delve is still a week away. You still have what, 11 days to farm gold. So even if you dumped all your gold, you should still have enough for next faction. Because 11 days is a lot of the time to farm gold. Even if you only farm 500,000 per day, which only takes about 2 hours per day, you would end up having way more than enough gold by the time next faction comes around the following Friday, and still have enough to donate to a guild. Ooh, you finally got Arcane base 200. Nice. I'm not even sure what my base value is these days, because I haven't really been specifically trying to grind them ever since token grinding has come out. Because I generally just farm the same few, and even if I 20% hunt, it focuses every little arcane rather than any specific one. So let's say that we only had like 5 that were lower. Even if we 20% hunted, instead of just gaining the 5 that were lower, we'd be gaining a little bit of every single one in the entire game. So even that is technically less of a or more of a grind if you want to go for even values. You're still getting the same amount of tokens, or same amount of arcanes, I mean, but the distribution of it's actually a higher variety, which is technically a bad thing if you're trying to focus down a specific few. Because normally when you're arcane hunting, you want a wide variety of them. Or you want a wide variety, but you want a specific wide variety. So let's say you have like 6 legends that you want to go upgrade. You'd want to focus on those 6. However, the current system makes it so if you 20% hunt, you're basically getting every single arcane in the game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you're trying to focus them down, it doesn't really work as well. Do you remember how slow the game was? Yes. The game used to be very, very slow. Like, the movement of the board used to be about 3 times slower, as well as the fact that the pacing of the game used to take minutes per battle. Like, the quickest battle you would ever get at one point was, like, a few minutes long. Used to be, like, very, very slow. Where was I? Let me go do dungeons, and then let's go on the hunt. And don't forget to do dungeons. It is a diamond day. Best day to go and do these things. And I also always advise spending 50 gems on Sundays. It's only specifically on Sundays. And the main reason for that is because on Sundays you end up getting a higher amount of diamonds, and those higher amount of diamonds will give you a lot of resources. Since you end up getting 80 diamonds for 50 gems, which in itself is already worth it. Then you also get 2 gem keys, a celestial, and a few other things. And between everything, it is very, very much worth the 50 gems that it costs. Only specifically on Sundays is that worth it, though. Because on every other day, it's has much less value in it. And you can still go for it on the other days, however, it's only always worth it on Sundays. Every other day is situational on if you want it or not. I personally don't go for it on any of the other days. And the main reason for that is we have enough diamonds to last basically forever. We have enough diamonds right now to craft 14 mythics. Oh, we'll take that for now. Okay, destroy everywhere. And then we key to key. I'm actually going to gold first, just in case that's not enough damage. Didn't want to double check the boost ratio. By the time we would have double checked, we could have already just casted, which is why we casted. And he's dead. Is my guild full? I believe so. I'll go double check though. Let me see. Is our guild full? I believe the answer is yes. I'm not sure if I need to kick anyone though. Let's see. How's our people doing? Oh no, I need to kick myself. I don't really care if people go a little bit under on trophies. Like, I encourage like 200 trophy. I guess we'll go do a little bit more PvP. Actually, we have one of the lowest trophies in our guild. We have like the 3rd lowest, which is kind of funny. But as long as people do the gold, that's the main thing we're mostly looking for. Someone forgot to take their seals. That's not too big a deal either. Let's see. The gold is like the only value I care about here for the most part. That seems like everyone's fine in that regard. So no one needs to get kicked yet. I feel like we've barely been kicking anyone. Also, invasions we've done for a while, so nothing more to do there. We're obviously not trying for leaderboard, and no need to really do these other battles. Actually, we're one of the lowest in our guilds because we end up doing the minimum. Did anyone actually go for leaderboard? We have 2 at 440. No, 440 is not enough. I guess they bought to a specific pack to get everything. I guess maybe they bought up to emojis. But then again, emojis is only one set further. Though I guess if you use all your battles and buy to that pack, that would probably be enough to get to that point. But yeah, do keep in mind, once you get the, once the guild is done, unless you're going for a leaderboard, you really have no need to do those other battles. They don't really give any loot in, otherwise. Anyways, next order of business. Let's finish out this last battle before I forget. Claim our 80 diamonds and go from there. You go for all 20%, but stop at Mystic Boss. Then you can run through, say, White Home 7 times before you can recharge. Then when you're below 100 Myth Stones, you rest the Kingdoms with a 20% bonus. And I guess that could end up working out pretty decently. And then you'd be able to get a bunch of shards simultaneously. And then go grind out and repeat. There's a few different strategies you can use. I tend to mostly do the 2 kingdom spam though. Either the 1 kingdom with just rushing it down, which of course is Urskea with the instant kill Scorpius, or alternating between 2 so we can level up hero classes. But yeah, you can go the 20% method, or the farming 20% method, which you basically go and accumulate a bunch of kingdoms up to their 20%, then do all the 20% at once, and then go and redo the cycle every single time. And the reason you'd want to do them all at once is so that they all cycle at once. I don't know. That would both have its benefits and its losses. It's more of a benefit in that it would seem like you can end up getting a lot more tokens all at once. However, it would have a slight downside in that if you're already doing a 20% kingdom, that's a good kingdom. For example, Forest of Thorns isn't too bad. And then you end up getting a bad kingdom like KZL when you're using a Devour team, or a Poison team, or any kind of thing. It has a lot of immunes. Then that can be a little bit annoying, because one nice thing about doing them one at a time is, let's say, Divinian Fields, relatively weak kingdom overall for running any Explore team. So let's say we go and do this 20%, but let's say we were holding all the 20% and then doing them simultaneously. The problem with that is the 20% will not go to a location where it already was. So if we end up going and completing out the 20%, holding a bunch of them, and then it becomes another 20%, let's say at Pan's Veil, and then we finish out that Pan's Veil. If we already have one over top of the kingdom, we won't be able to go and get another one over top of that kingdom. For the most part, that's not really too big a deal, because most kingdoms are relatively easy as far as it comes to explore. There's just a few really annoying ones, like KZL for the most part. KZL and Grashnok are probably the 2 most annoying. But it's only a real downside, I would say, to that. Is you can't get like a 20% over top of the 20%. If one already has it on, you can't get another one that goes over top of it whenever you do that. Speaking of token grinding, let's go token grind. Let's go over here. Just going to be using the alternating method. You're looking to craft Tina, 9,000. When's the next time she'll be available? We don't currently know. However, I don't believe she was in the current cycle, so it should be pretty soon if she hasn't been. But yeah, we don't know when Mythics will be in the drop table. We just know when they won't be in the drop table. And I forget if Tina's on current rotation or not. I believe she is. I believe she hasn't appeared on current rotation. And if that is the case, she'll probably be around in a few weeks or so. However, we don't know any official time. Because it's random each time, but it's random based on a drop table of ones that haven't occurred per cycle. And if she hasn't occurred this cycle, that means she is very likely to happen soon. I can go double check. It'll take me like a minute to double check though fully. I would need to go all the way over top to main page here. Underneath this main page, I need to go over to where is Soulforge history for troops. And now I need to see what cycle number we're on. We are cycle number 14. Oh no, we're just on a new cycle recently. It could be ages. Never mind. I lied. We literally just started a new cycle. which is why it seemed like she wasn't on this cycle. But yeah, we just started a new cycle, and the only things that are out of this cycle is Guard's Avatar and Famine. So pretty much any mythic in the entire game other than Guard's Avatar or Famine could potentially be next week's mythic. So yeah, it could be literally like 3 months before she rolls back around. Though it could also be next week. We don't know. We just know 100% that it is not going to be Famine or Guard's Avatar. That's the only thing we know. Anything else could happen. We could literally go get, which is kind of funny. Skady and Suna are currently in the drop table for Soulforge. While it is very unlikely, it is technically possible that they will also be in the Soulforge next week, because we're on a new cycle now for Mythic Soulforge. We're also on a relatively new cycle for Legend Soulforge. The only ones that aren't in the drop table for Legends right now are Willow, Winter Imp, Shegra, Sakima, Frostfeather, Silent One, Summer Imp, Leviathan, and Inferno King. So still quite a few good ones that could be for the Legends. So for example, Dragon Soul, Queen of Tanya, Yao Gui, all those are within the rotation for the next Legend potentially. But yeah, the Mythic one just reset recently, so it's going to be a while. Also, here's the link to that page, by the way. Like talking about this page, but here's the link to it if you want to ever look it up yourself. And that does stay up to date as well. Like it'll be updated as soon as next week rolls around, probably on Monday. So probably within several hours from now. A little bit after the reset. But yeah, we never know what's going to be in Soulforge. We just know what's not in Soulforge. Because it runs on a cycle-based system, where it runs one of every single drop before it recycles back again. So it could be anything that hasn't come in the cycle, but it will never repeat anything from the cycle until next cycle. So it slowly starts eliminating the drop table, which makes it slightly easier to somewhat predict when something will come. However, it's never guaranteed until the cycle is completely depleted. What's the top best mythic to craft? The best mythics right now to craft are things like Iron Gut, Ketris the Bull, Scorpius if you want to go run the quick kill team, assuming you already have a good poison option, Infernus, the Possessed King, and I believe that's a good majority of the really high priority crafts. There's quite a few others that you might want to pick up depending on what you want to run them for. For example, Wild Queen. Wild Queen is a great Guild War option. Trying to think of a few others that you might want to get as utilities. But if you don't have anything that I mentioned so far, one of those is probably what you want to get. Iron Gut's definitely 100% highest priority these days. Infernus and Ketris are great options. Infernus for PvP, Ketris more so for upscaling. Infernus particularly so if you're earlier on in the game. Just because of how effective 3 damage per turn to all enemies is earlier on in the game compared to later in the game. It's still always effective, but obviously the lower the enemy stats, the more effective it is. It's more of a PvP Guild War kind of option thing. What team are you metal farming? And is Egg Thief team good for it? Yeah, you can still use Egg Thief team for grinding the lower levels. You can't use higher levels though. And personally, I find the one-shot method to be a bit better for doing this specifically. Just because of how much quicker a one-shot is. But yeah, the team I normally use for metal farming is this, and then switching over to a Scorpius. Or I just do all in on the Scorpius and Urskea. Urskea still has 0 troops with immune to poison. Which is a very beneficial place to try to kill them with double kill poisons. Since nothing has immune there. How do you get such high stats on all the troops? I really need to go cover a video on that again. I have in the past, but of course newer players I'm pretty sure are stumped by that the most, given that the game doesn't really explain how to do that properly. But yeah, I'll go mention it again real quick as soon as we do this battle, because it's easier to show it on one of the specific screens. Yeah, I should probably cover a video on that this week, because that's probably like the dozenth time we've been asked within like the last few weeks. But it can be pretty confusing for newer players because in the game it's not really specifically stated much, or really anywheres. Like it might show areas where you can gain stats, but it doesn't really ever explain it to you, the game. But anyways, as far as our stats, There are several reasons as to why our stats are so high. Let's just click on a random team like the one we were just using. So it is all of these. The first one here is the main one that we're gaining all of our stats from, and probably the biggest difference. This is kingdom bonuses. There are currently three ways that you can gain extra stats via kingdom bonuses. There are 5-star kingdoms. So what I'm referring to by a 5-star kingdom is if you go under power level, this being power level 5 or higher is a 5-star kingdom. So that ends up giving you 1 stat towards the kingdom. Another way that you can get it is through 10-star kingdom. 10-star is the same thing. If this is power level 10, you'll end up gaining another stat through the kingdom. And, oh, sorry, there's actually 4 ways. And the other 2 are from over here. A level 10 kingdom, specifically the top one, not the bottom one. There's a difference between level and power. Power is normally called stars or power level, but more often than not referred to as stars because those are what these things are underneath your thing. It's just showing the power level. Those little stars there. But they're called stars or power level. And this, you end up getting stats on 5 and 10. And on this, you end up getting at level 10 and 15. So level 10 is actually the easiest one to do on this. So getting a kingdom to kingdom level 10. The easiest one of all these, I believe it costs 135,000 gold or so, somewhere around there, in order to go get a kingdom to level 10. And that's generally the first stat that you end up getting. Then you can end up getting another one when you eventually get to 15, which takes a lot longer because you need quite a bit more gold, as well as deeds, with deeds being the main bottleneck for actually being able to do it. And then the other 2 are from the power levels here, 5 and 10, as I mentioned, and you can see them on this page. Power level 5, you end up gaining a skill bonus, and power level 10, you also gain another skill bonus. Technically, you'll also get it again at 20, however, there is currently no kingdom in the game that's even close to 20 yet. Other than that, the rest of these stats, as far as breaking these down, the next one that we have here is guild bonuses. These you end up getting applied through via your guild from getting tasks done. There's a good chance they'll be expanding how many you can actually get from this starting next patch. However, this first set is the main one that you would end up getting. So I'm currently on my task page, which probably looks a little bit different than yours. Normally there are 6 tasks here, 1 for every single color. And every single time you complete one of those, all 12 completion, doing all 12 of those tasks, you end up getting a stat. Like, for example, the red one gives attack, the green one gives HP, the purple one gives magic, so on and so forth. Every single one of them, once you get it fully completed, gives you some stats that you gain for an entire week across your entire guild. And I believe they are doubling this amount of stats next patch by adding more tasks. We still don't know exactly how next patch is going to turn out still, but we'll find out soon, TM. But yeah, we'll have more info on that soonish. But other than that, as far as the breakdown for the rest of these, next one that we have here is Renown bonus. This you can pretty much ignore in early game and mid game, but these little bit of bonuses are specifically from the Underworld. So if we go over to our Renown here, we end up gaining a bunch of stats, and every 4,000 Renown, you end up gaining a stat. We're at 35,000. So how many is that? That means we're gaining, what is that, 8 stats right now, and we're about to gain a 9th very, very soon. So we'll have that in another week or so. But other than that, the rest of the stats over here, we have a you can end up getting team bonuses whenever you use multiple of from a single kingdom, or from a single type, or from a single wait, there's 3 of them. From a single kingdom, from a single type, oh, and a single color. Any of those 3, if you use 4 of the same color, 3 or 4 of the same type, or 2, 3, or 4 from the same kingdom, it'll end up giving you a bonus. And that bonus can be increased by having a pet of that thing, which you can upgrade anywhere from a 2x multiplier all the way up to a 3x multiplier, as you can see underneath this page right here. Most pets are like this. They end up doing a various team bonus, and you can end up getting them quite a bit higher. However, most of their benefit is gained just from having the 1 copy of the troop all the way at level 1. Other than that, what other bonuses are on this page? And the only other thing we have are equipped medals. These are these things up here. We're actually trying to go get more Nyshas so we can get a full magic bonus. But you can also end up doing a pretty wide amount of stats through here. Some of them have effects as well, but you could end up doing HP, armor, a cleanse, 20% mana start, attack, and of course right now we're farming magic. But yeah, that's all the stats in the game, and all the various ways that you can kind of gain a little bit more. But I need to go do a concise video kind of going over that again. I did in the past, but it's been, I think it's dated like 3 years ago or something. The last time I specifically covered a video on it. So I should probably cover another one soon. Because gosh, is the other one dated. How can I tell what the cycle is for the mythic troops? Let's go to that link that I just posted. Oh, what is the significance of the number? So it depends on what cycle number it is. So if you go to that link again, it's right over here. Let's see, where's my copy paste? If you go to that link right there, basically how you read this is, where is it opened at? Hold up 1 second, where do I have it? I just posted it, but I can't even find my own of it. There it is. Okay, so basically the main thing that you want to be looking for is the last scene. And you want to see what number the last scene is on. So right now, the last scene is on rotation number 14 for the mythics. So you can see that the previous cycle right over there, all the way at the right, you want to look all the way at the right column there, but you can see that the previous one is at 13. So basically that means the cycle has been reset. So that means any of them that are currently showing as on 14 cycle, since that is the current cycle, the most recent cycle, whatever the most recent number is underneath that column, that means those are no longer going to be in the current cycle. So that means next week we can see that pretty much everything is going to be within the drop table, with the only 2 exceptions being the 2 that are on the current cycle of cycle 14, which are Famine and Guard's Avatar. Next week there'll be 6 things there, whatever next 4 are coming out next Monday, and the 2 that I just mentioned, Famine and Guard's Avatar. So that means the following week those 6 troops will not be available in the cycle, and then the following week the whatever 10 troops will not be available in the cycle, and so on and so forth, until it cycles through every single mythic in the game. And then once it says it's on cycle 15, then that means the cycle has been reset, and that means everything is back in the drop table, aside from the ones that are marked with 15. And it just keep doing that over and over again for every single cycle whenever it ends up resetting. But yeah, it just reset this week, the cycle, so almost any mythic in the entire game could be next week. Oops, what am I doing right now? This is not the team I need. Whoops. Mistakes were made. Retreat. Yes. No. Wait, what kingdom did I even go over to? Wait, what? Why am I in Kizel? What massive mistake did I just make? That is not the place where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Glacial Peaks. Wasn't even paying attention. But Glacial Peaks, go to here. Go quick kill this. We're on 3, right? We better be. Yeah, we are. Okay, good. Go grab this, and then we go head over to the Urskea and go kill that up. Is Divine Protector available to craft tomorrow? I'm pretty sure. It is a Divinian Fields weapon, right? I mean, not Divinian Fields, a White Helm. Let me see. Here's every weapon that's available to craft tomorrow. The full list is as follows. Let's see. Weapon. 1 second. Where's White Helm? So everything that can be crafted next week as far as weapons are... Celestial Staff will be buyable for $5. Divine Protector will be craftable. And that's it. Divine Protector will be craftable, and Celestial Staff will be available for $5. And that's all that will be available. Because these 3 are locked behind getting a level, which most people already have. This is locked behind getting 250 wins on... I believe it's the Priest Hero class. And this is locked behind buying it during a Hall of Guardians event, either via gems or via Soulforge. And the next Hall of Guardian event, I believe, is 3 weeks from now, I believe. Somewhere around there, 3 or 4 weeks from now. Actually, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I mean, sorry. But it's right around the corner if you did want to get that. But yeah, the only 2 that will be available is this for $5 and this for Soulforge. So yes, if you want to go craft Divine Protector, it is available next week. All next week for the entire week. So definitely make sure to do so if you've still been looking for it. It's not the most meta of weapons these days, though it's still a good utility to have, and I would advise crafting it. So if you're a little short on diamonds or saving for something, you might want to hold off. However, it is a good weapon to have. Divines might become meta again. In the current state of the game, they're somewhat average. The main Divine team that's ran doesn't actually need Priest, which is the main kind of weird thing. But or it doesn't need Divine Protector, I should say. And the main team that is Divine Ishbala and Tequilin. And a Divine Ishbala Quillen team does not actually need a Divine Protector. But that's the strongest Divine team currently in the game. But you never know, there might be some kind of new Divine troop that just completely makes Divine Protector meta again. One single troop could easily do that, because Divines are pretty good. Divines are one of the better typings in the game. So much so that they actually had to nerf Divine Ishbala from 50% mana start to 40% mana start. She's the only 50% mana start troop that it was so strong that they had to nerf it after it came out. They might do the same for dragons as well. I hope they don't, though. I really hope they keep maintaining a 50% dragon start for dragons. Should he get Celestial Staff? It's a relatively useless weapon. You can sometimes do it on a Rowain team just as a cheaper first slot option, though there's plenty of better options out there. Because you might have seen me using it some for that. But for $5, it's really not worth it. You only really get it for completionist sake. if you're trying to get every weapon in the game. But no, there's almost no instance you would ever use it. It's extremely dated and very underpowered in the current state of the game. And the only benefit it has is it's the... As far as yellow weapons are concerned, it's one of the highest damaging, lower mana cost yellow weapons. But even then, it's still excessively low, only hitting like up to 30-something damage or something. Which is obviously very bad this late in the game. Why are the names so dark in my chat feed? The color keeps changing for whatever reason, and I have no clue how to preset it. I think what I'm going to be doing soon, which I've been meaning to for a while, but I keep not being able to. Things just keep popping up that keep distracting me. But I do need to go do that soon. I need to go do two things. Make alerts work correctly, because they still don't. And the other main thing is I need to go find a way to capture YouTube chat so I don't have to manually set it every single time. I don't currently have to manually set it every single time, but I want to find a way to capture it every single time without having to manually set it. I believe there's a way to do that. I need to go look it up, though. I did something in the past, but the way I set it up, I had to manually set it each time, which is really time-consuming to do every single time. Because that's basically a whole extra few minutes of setup every single time we do a stream, on top of everything else we already have to set up. But there should be a way to do it automatically while still capturing the exact YouTube chat in dark mode. And that is the game plan. I just need to figure out how exactly to do that. I might just need to do a window capture, which it would mean I would have to manually do it. However, if that's the only way we can end up doing it, I'm just going to have to do it that way. But yeah, we're probably just going to capture YouTube chat directly. Because the other problem with that chat is if I type something like our special emoji thingies, they don't show up correctly. So if I go type in, for example, hello, if you look over to the left of the screen, it shows up as not hello. It shows up as the text form of what it is. And if I do it with an actual capture of the chat, then it'll show up as the actual text rather than the that weird mess. Okay, we'll go for that. Okay, can we get anything good here? The answer is no, 2 Cedrics, but at least we get a badge out of it. Okay, let's go back to the quick heal team. Keep getting our grind on. Well, when I said dark mode, I meant YouTube's version of dark mode. Like, I could actually get a little mini thing set up right now, I believe. It's actually relatively easy, I think. Let me see. However, I don't have a good way of putting it on, do I? No, not from this menu. I would need to go look it up underneath a different setting. Let's see, or maybe not. Let's see. Hold up, I got this. If I do this... Oh, I can't do that in a new tab. That's unfortunate. It is how I used to do it. I used to do this. Does it not have a dark mode, though? I would do this. I would do that. How do I dark mode this thing? It doesn't have an option. Come on, YouTube. Why don't you have an option just right here? Send feedback. Yeah, send feedback. Add a dark mode to this page right here instead of a feedback button. Yeah, it must be a different location to do that within settings. It doesn't allow us here. However, I could just start capturing this, and it would end up working just fine if I really wanted to. But I'd prefer to get like a dark mode theme for it because it kind of looks weird with like the white on it. But yeah, I could theoretically just capture that. I'm not going to keep capturing it, but just to show it real quick, let's see. If I just go add here, it's like a really simple way of doing it. Browser source. So browser source, I don't believe I could do it with, but let me see if I actually can do it through browser source. I'm curious now. Browser source, add source. Let's just call it browser source. No, let's call it YouTube chat. YouTube full chat. Okay, now it's going to add a random thing of stream OBS of whatever the default is. However, that's not what we want. What we want is this one right over here. Oh, problem. Gosh, I'm not on that page. I forgot about that. That's annoying. What's the easiest way for me to copy this to myself? Let's see. What is the easiest way for me to copy this to myself? I'm trying to think of a way. Oh yeah, I could just type it into YouTube chat and then go on my other thing and go to YouTube and copy paste it that way. Let's see. That's the one we want. Is that one right there? Let's see. Is that the one? What even happens when you click on that link? I'm curious. That's the one that goes to our chat, apparently. What happens if I just open that link in a new tab? Does it actually bring it up properly? It does. Interesting. It brings up like a whole page with just that chat. Not in dark mode, though. Need to figure out how to do that. There's probably an option in the back end of YouTube to do that. But anyways, now we just go onto a browser on our thing. Go get that link. Go get over to the other computer. And then put it in. It feels so weird using a 2 PC setup in that regard. Has to be like an easier way of doing that. I don't have the 2 computers connected though. I guess if I had them connected, then it would be a little bit easier to do that. But also, why is Chrome not opening? Go Chrome, go. Did I not click? There we go. I was gonna say normally it loads pretty quick. Let's see. What am I looking for? I'm looking for my YouTube channel, Creator Studio. Open that, new tab, boom, put that over there. Go and go right over here over to our normal studio. Actually, while I'm here, I should probably look for dark mode. I'll look for it later. Anyways, what am I looking for? I am looking for live streaming. I am looking for our other end of our live stream. And there's the link. Open that in a new tab. Copy the link. Put that into there. And that should technically work? Question mark? Or we might just need to rescale it. Yeah, and then it does that. And then we just have to rescale it to the proper size. But yeah, we could do something like that. And, you know, then it just comes up normally. Though we'd want to make sure it's in dark mode, and we'd obviously want its dimensions to be correct. And we'd also want to do feathering to it so it doesn't show the part where I can actually type into it. And then we could just do it that way. Also, YouTube always has that weird comment on it too. Whatever that is. Like, welcome to the chat, blah, 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 and click the thing to learn more. Actually, maybe I do go under learn more. How do you do dark mode? Gosh. Let's see. This page is not useful at all. No, this was not useful. No, nothing good info there. Anyways, let me go get it off screen. I just wanted to mess with that real quick. Yeah, something along the lines of that. And just make it dark mode and just make it a lot more vertical and add feathering to it so it doesn't show the chat thingy thing. And we'll just do that to replace the one that's currently there. Right now I'm doing it through Streamlabs, the chat that we have going on. But anyways, let me X out of that. Not sure if I'd have to reset that every single time or if it auto picks out the right window. I hope it auto picks out the right window, but well, I'm not 100% certain on that. Because it is rather annoying to reset every single time if we had to. But anyways. Okay. Next battle. Let's go clear out all this. Grab our destroy there. Wait, is my thing not working all of a sudden? There we go. I was gonna say, why is my controller not working magically? It is. Just being weird for a moment. Okay, I'll grab this other one for now. If it'll go. Oh, no wonder why it keeps not going. It's still their turn because they have so many traits that keep triggering. Wasting all the starting time of a battle. There used to be a really funny glitch with that, where you could actually cast prior to the enemy triggering their traits. They made that so it's not possible anymore. But at one point in the game, you could actually cast things prior, like things that have empowered, prior to the enemy doing all their traits. Meaning you could actually stun a trait back when Manicore had empower prior to them triggering their trait. Basically meaning it was the only instance that has ever existed in the game where you could stop first turn traits. There's currently nothing in the game that can stop first turn traits. However, if they ever add stun on first turn to the enemy, or a random stats effect to an enemy on first turn, if you could ever first turn stun the enemy, it would prevent them from triggering at start of battle traits. So these include things like Jinx, any stat gain, including token-related stat gains, as well as Trying to think of some other ones that are kind of relevant. Those are the main ones. Stats and Jinx. But yeah, people mention how there's like no counter to the stat gains off of medals. If they added something that 4 times stuns, or even could 1 time stun an enemy on the very first turn, it would actually prevent the use of tokens. So let's say you have plus 12 magic, and you find it very annoying because you don't have plus 12 magic. If they ever add a way to stun on turn 1, you could actually disable their plus 12 magic on the whatever troop is stunned. However, it has to be on turn 1 prior to them triggering their traits for it to work. And there's currently nothing that does that in this current state of the game. You can still stun them on the first turn, theoretically. However, you have to stun it prior to them actually triggering their traits, not on turn 1. There's a difference between that. Like, Obsidious can obviously stun an entire team on turn 1, but it can't stun an entire team prior to the battle beginning. Which is what you need it to do. Oh! Isabel just got a Anu and a Nyshas this morning? Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, we've done that 2 or 3 times now. We've been getting really lucky with that. But we don't need that much luck at the moment. I just need to get 2 normal Nyshas and we'll be good. Doesn't matter if we don't get any Anus. 2 Nyshas and we're set. Then I don't need another Nyshas ever again. Well, that's actually not true, but we have a lot lower priority of needing tokens once we get to that point. We'll still need them, though, of course. Another Leprechaun. Seems like we'd be getting above average amount of them, given that it's not an event. Their drop rate's still not too bad when it's not an event. Ooh, 5 gems, not bad. Not his best drop, not his worst drop. I need a little bit of gems help. We actually broke 26,000 recently, because I didn't spend or waste any on this most recent event. However, that's going to be dropping down pretty soon because I'm going to be spending 2,000 gems next Friday on the next... no. Next week's Friday. Well, that's pretty much next Friday, I guess. It depends how you define next Friday. But 2 weeks from now, not this week's Friday, but next week's Friday, we'll be dropping down about 2,000 to 3,000 gems on the new faction event. Though it does seem like our gems are finally starting to replenish themselves slowly. For once. Making progress. I need them to start growing because there's a possibility they might start declining a bit more starting next patch. Not by much, but there are things in next patch that might make it harder to get mythics. And it doesn't seem like they're tweaking them enough that it'll really make much of an impact. Or, you know, it'll still make an impact to a degree that'll make it harder. When I say not much of an impact, I mean like keeping it as is. But it does look like they are trying to phase out the usefulness of gold ever so slightly. We'll still be able to get other good stuff from it. We'll kind of just have to test it after a few weeks to kind of see. But I do feel like it's going to hurt late game players the most. Because end game players are kind of set on resources for the most part. Some of them might not be. But a good majority are. And late game, like people in late game trying to hit to end game are the people it probably hits the most, I would say. That's mostly people around the level 1,100 to 1,300 range or so. Somewhere around there. Which is a good majority of players who are dedicated to the game, unfortunately. But we'll see exactly how it pans out. It's still not official whatever they're going to be doing for it. We won't really know at this point until the patch comes out. I do know some things through the beta. Some of which I can't mention. But as far as publicly, I don't think it's been mentioned yet. But you'll know soon, TM. Oops, this is not the team I wanted. That's not the team. That's also not the team. Come on, click the right one. There we go. What is the difference from late game and end game? I still never really did a video going over how I define them. But the main difference between late game and end game is late game is trying to get everything in the game. Like everything that exists within the game. Whereas late game is trying to get everything that exists within the game. Whereas end game is trying to get everything that's about to exist in the game. So basically, late game sees what's currently in the game, and they want to go get everything. Whereas end game pretty much already has everything in the game and a decent amount of resources of everything, and they're trying to farm to get whatever's about to become into the game. Oh, how to take care. We'll go for that for now. And the other main difference with that is late game. I mean, end game tends to have played for a lot longer. Most accounts that are in late game have been playing for anywhere from 6 months to probably 2 or 3 years, whereas anyone who's in end game has probably been playing anywhere from like 2 to 5 years. Because the biggest difference between them is the amount of resources they have. Also the fact that people in end game generally have like almost everything in the game, if not literally everything. Like they might only be missing like 5 mythics or something, if even that. And everything else they would have. And maybe they might be missing a few weapons because they might not have been playing long enough to have the other few. But late game is still in the process of only probably having about half the mythics. And they might have all the core mythics, but they don't have like a wide range of mythics. Like they don't have every single mythic, or even close to every single mythic. They have like the most usable ones, and they can still build all the really meta teams, but they don't have access to everything, like an end game player would. The only part where late game and end game is slightly distinguished as far as options is probably mostly Guild Wars, possibly the amount of delves, like level 2,500 factions, because they're way easier with a wide range of capabilities, and Tower of Doom. Those 3 game modes are probably the only real difference in usability, but most people in late game can do anything an end game player can. They just might not be able to get every single mythic when it comes out, and they might also just not have every single option in the game, but they have a good majority of them. You can easily survive even in just mid-game as far as content, though. You definitely don't need every option as a option to be able to win most battles, because Mang Titan alone can just carry you through the entire game, pretty much. It's not the best option for everything, but it is a really solid option for almost everything. Yeah, that'd probably be end game then, Matt. One of the easiest ways to tell is, do you get literally every single mythic when it gets out? Or every single piece of content? Like, do you just spam event keys when a new legend comes out? Do you just spam keys and instantly get a mythic whenever a mythic comes out? If you're at that point, and you consistently get that literally every time, or essentially almost every single time, then you're probably end game at that point. If you're at the point of actually grinding those. So, like, if your plan this Friday is just to spam every single key you have to get the mythic, and you'll still have a bunch of keys left over as if it didn't even touch your resources, then you're probably in end game. But if you're someone who, like, spends all your keys and you somehow, like, don't get the mythic, and you feel like you're constantly, like, running out of keys for getting mythics, you're probably in late game, not end game. If any of your resources ever deplete to 0, you're probably in late game. And that includes gems. That or you're wasting them for something. Because keep in mind, you don't have to craft every single mythic. I do because I have to for videos in order to show them, of course. But for the normal person, like if you're starting to run low on keys and you still have diamonds left over, but you already have like every other mythic in the game, you can simply just skip a mythic that isn't as useful and then craft it in Soulforge later so you don't have to use keys. I haven't ever been able to do that because I always show them on the Friday they come out. But that is an option, of course. Running out, yeah, that will happen a lot more often starting next patch, unfortunately, after 4.7, with how they seem to have it structured. What would I rate Rune Priest as? He's about mid-tier at best. He only has one good double combo, and that's the fact he has Barrier on Brown combined with Dispel. Other than that, he has almost no redeeming quality. And there are very, very few instances where you'd ever want that combo. Barrier every Brown combined with Dispel. Compared to using other Dispel options that are stronger, or just using other Barrier options that are stronger, are normally the better way to go. Because very rarely do you need your Dispel option to be your first slot? And that's generally how you use Rune Priest. However, most Dispel troops tend to be in second and third slot if you're using them in most normal teams. And your brown barrier thing tends to always be in first slot. So it's a little bit of a confliction there. Because normally if you're using Dispel on your team, you want your Dispel to survive as long as possible. Which the barrier every brown does help. But the easiest way to do that is just to not put it in first slot. But if you have barrier every brown, you tend to want to put it into first slot. Because then that becomes one of your better tanks. So it's just a weird combination of abilities that is very rarely used. It's not bad though. It's not a bad class by any means. It's just other classes do it better in most situations. It also doesn't have a natural half mana start. It can get half mana start, but you have to use King Highforge if you want to do it. Which wastes a whole slot if it's not too good for your team. Have you ever thought about leaving game completely? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like quitting the game? No. I have actually never quit Gems of War. There's been times when I've played it slightly less than others, but I have never actually quit Gems of War. There are plenty of MMOs and other things I have in the past, however, and then possibly come back to at a later point, but I've never actually quit Gems of War at any point. Well, it's definitely possible to run out of keys. What I mainly meant by that is running out of keys to a point where you can't even open anymore. Like, it's definitely possible, any person, that they just run out of, let's say, like, glory keys or gem keys specifically. But when I say run out of keys, I mean, like, literally every key. Like, you don't have any more mythic obtaining keys. Which basically means the combination of glory, gem keys, and seal keys. And seal keys is normally your base. Or some people use the gem key as the base. It really depends what direction you want to do it in. But as long as those three aren't depleted, they're basically the same thing. Glory keys, gem keys, and seal keys. They just use different resources. But all three of them do the exact same goal. And as long as you have one of them that is plentiful, it's still the same equivalent, even if you run out of one of the other keys. For example, I tend to run out of gem keys occasionally. However, I tend to not run out of glory keys, and I never, ever run out of seals. We have enough seals to last for over a year. Because the order that I use them in is gem keys, then glory keys, then seal keys. Which is the reason why we occasionally run out of gem keys, just because I prioritize using them first. And the main reason for that is because they have ingot drops, and I still don't have enough epic ingots yet to max out everything in the game. As far as weapons are concerned, there's no real rush in doing that because there's no current benefit to doing so. However, it is still something I want to get done slowly over time, which is why, if you ever wonder why I always open those instead of the other two, that's the main reason why, is to hope to get epic ingots, or ultra rare ingots, which then will convert to epic ingots, which we'll use to upgrade epic weapons, which I still don't have maxed yet. So we probably should go see how many we can. I feel like we're still a while away from being able to max it. I currently have every other weapon type maxed, but I still do not have epics maxed. Mostly because they take forever because of how weirdly rare epic ingots are. Let's go take our tribute real quick. Grab our 15 gems, but let me go check actually real quick. Bonuses, class, weapons. Actually, you know what? Let's go convert our things. Where's Soulforge? Haven't done this for a while. However, I also haven't been doing much PvP, so I might not even have that many. But if we go under other... oh yeah, we actually can make a decent amount. So we'll go convert all of our rares to ultra rare. And craft 61 of those. Boom. And then we go and craft all of these into epics. Nice. 55 of them, actually. Not too bad. Wow, we definitely haven't done it for a while if we can craft 55 epic ingots. I might need to screenshot that. Gosh. When was the last time we got 55 epic ingots all at once? Never. Also, I deliberately don't upgrade my commons, just so I can see how high we can actually get. We currently have 11,070 of them. I've been kind of collecting them just for fun ever since I got all the common rares and ultra rares done. But anyways, let me go and go upgrade a couple epic weapons and see how far we actually need to go still. Because epic is the only category that I haven't gotten them all yet. And with 55, that's like 1.5 weapons there. What am I looking for? I'm looking for rarity. Where's rarity? Base rarity or rarity both do the same thing under weapons. Okay. So we have every legend weapon upgraded except for Mang, because I deliberately don't have Mang upgraded because it's actually stronger non-upgraded. As weird as that sounds. Okay, so let's just go start upgrading weapons, even if they're completely useless under epics, because I don't plan on ever using any of these. But let's go start upgrading them. Oh wow, yeah, we can barely do any. Never mind. No wonder why I don't bother upgrading a couple of them. But yeah, we're still missing quite a few. Let's see, how many can we currently upgrade? What is 36 divided into 34? How many times can that go in? It looks like it can go in 9 times. So we can upgrade 9 weapons. So let's count how many we have and then minus 9. Let's just do it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're getting close actually. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29 minus 9. We still need to go get 20 more weapons worth of epic ingots, which means we need to get approximately 720 more epic ingots. After we get about 720 more epic ingots, we will have every epic weapon in the entire game upgraded. And then that would also mean we have every weapon in the game upgraded, with the only exception being Mang, for the deliberate reason that's stronger. Oh, also I do have 2 legendary weapons that aren't upgraded. The other one I don't have upgraded is Imperial Jewel. And the reason for this is Imperial Jewel, while it doesn't have anything that makes the board weird, it does take about a half a second to a second longer to cast per cast whenever you go and try casting it when you have the perks on it, because the perks take a little bit longer to trigger, even if they don't even touch the board or anything. And for that reason, if we're doing it in a battle where we might need to cast it like 2 times, which if you're going to bother using this, you're normally using an Explorer. But I don't know, maybe we'll upgrade it, because in the current state of the game, it's not as useful. But it does waste about half a second to a second having any weapon upgraded, and that's applicable to literally every weapon in the game. Having them upgraded beyond 5, even if they're good perks, will waste at minimum a half a second, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're casting that thing like 100 times per hour, that's a lot of time. You're losing at least a whole minute of time over the course of an entire hour of grinding something out, if not more. And some of them can waste even more than a minute. Like if they do a gem spawn or a single destroy onto the board, you then have to wait for the board to move. And even on a quick speed, that's at least going to kill a second, if not longer, per time that you cast it. That's not the main reason why I have Mang not upgraded, though. The main reason I have Mang not upgraded because it just spawns a single gem. But on top of the fact that it spawns a single gem, which could easily backfire, like I mentioned, any weapon could theoretically take longer to cast. So by not having it upgraded, it doesn't take as long. Luckily, with something like Mountain Crusher, it is actually not slowed by being upgraded, and the main reason for it is a board clear option. And since it is a board clear option, you're already going to have to wait anyways in order for the board to clear. So the effect that it does actually has a 0 downtime. So it being upgraded does not actually slow down the battle. However, anything that doesn't automatically have a board clear or something that touches the board, and then you're adding something that touches the board or even just any kind of perks onto it, it will waste time. Not much time, but some amount of time. But you don't see it with Mountain, because if we go and slow it down right here, for example, we can see it triggering as the explosions are going, so we're going to have to wait anyways. So for example, if I go down to ultra glacially slow speed, and we count Mountain here, you'll notice that all the effects it does happens prior to this board being cleared. So look at our mana, we'll probably see a 2 mana gain after we get this mana right over here. So we'll get all of our mana, and you're going to see a 2 mana gain in a second. Let's see if it'll stop lagging there. So I don't think it happened yet. So you should just see a random 2 mana gain. Right there, it was a 2 mana gain. And you saw it just did a bunch of effects, which normally take time. But since you saw the board was still moving, and still is right now actually, it actually has 0 downtime. But if that was a weapon that didn't have any kind of board clear, it would have just wasted about a second there or so. Or a little bit less than a second. I never timed it down to the millisecond, but you know, it wastes some amount of extra time. But it doesn't for Mang, because it doesn't for Mountain, because the board is already wasting time because it's explosion. And it just does it during that downtime. Meaning no time wasted is the bottom line, at least with this weapon. At what point do you not need to worry about souls? Well, now that you have mythic levels in the game, or epic levels, I mean, technically you always have to worry about souls. However, realistically, you stop worrying about souls as soon as you've upgraded every single troop in the game to level 20. Or at least close to level 20. So basically, once you have Dawnbringer, and once you've gotten most of your troop upgraded to their highest level, even if it's only 17, 18, or 19 at the point, and then you end up getting about 1,000,000 souls more than that, you are pretty much at a point where you don't need to worry about souls anymore. So level everything it can currently go as far as it can to its current levelage, even if that's not necessarily 20 yet. Have Dawnbringer, and then at that point right there, you basically have all the souls. And if you have 1,000,000 more than that, you're pretty much set for a while, because whenever you get a level up, you can just put it towards that. The only big issue now is technically you're never done with souls in this game now, ever since epic levels, because epic levels take 60,000 souls per upgrade. However, they take so long to grind that you'll probably be able to get souls at a quicker rate than that of which you spend, unless you grind heavily on tokens. But assuming you're just doing like an average player amount of token grinding, you're probably not going to outpace your souls with tokens once you get to that point. I don't even think I do, even though we've been grinding pretty heavily on it. And even if we are, it's ever so barely. Because we just hit 8,000,000 souls recently, which means we're going up, because I don't think we had 8,000,000 souls previously. So that means our souls are technically going up. However, I do have about 1,000,000 of souls I could go use by upgrading troops. So I guess it is technically going down, because if I was to go and upgrade every single troop I can currently do with my tokens, we're going to go down to like 7,000,000 souls. Yeah, the amount of souls you currently need to max out literally everything, though this takes like an absurd amount of time, no one in the entire game is even close. But if you are going to count the meddling upgrading required for every single troop at the lowest cost, it is probably around 40 to 50 million souls if you count every single gold cost in the entire game at this current moment in time. However, only about 10 million or so of that is the actual required spot. The rest of it's just epic levels. And epic levels take a while to grind and aren't really that needed in the current state of the game. They will be into the future, but as the game is currently structured, they aren't as important. You fully upgraded to yours to plus 9 by mistake. There's unfortunately no way to reset the upgrades. But it would be nice if we finally get a feature for that. It is still fine to use Mang as plus 9. I mean, like, it's not going to be like the end of the world if you did. Also, one thing to consider, if your Mang is plus 9, if you don't have Earth's Fury yet, have your Earth's Fury only go to 5. I personally do it the other way around, where my Mang is 5 and my Earth's Fury is 9. However, if your Earth's Fury is 9, you can always just make your... if your Mang is 9, you can just make your Earth's Fury a 5. And just use your Mang... Or just use your Earth's Fury, like the 5 option, and use your Mang as the 10 option. That won't work for everything, but there are some pieces of content where you would still be able to get away with that. And if you messed up one, you might still have a chance to do the other, if you messed up the Mang, because you might not have the Earth's Fury yet. The Earth's Fury was recently obtainable, but hopefully you didn't upgrade it if you did end up getting it. But the best way to do it is Mang at plus 5 and Earth's Fury at 9. You can theoretically keep both of them at 5 too. I don't use Earth's Fury enough to justify keeping it at a 5 though. Because of course one other thing you have to factor in too is while it's not as important for Kingdom upgrading in the current state of the game, Kingdom upgrades do require weapons to be maxed out, some amount of weapons. I believe a level 20 Kingdom requires like 7 or something weapons to be maxed from the Kingdom. I know there's one level coming up that uses a lot of them, and I'm pretty sure it was 20. 20 requiring 7, something like that. Yeah, they're still usable if you max them. Like, it's not going to be the end of the world if you do. It's just if you're using them a lot, it's just a little bit of a time waste. But Mang you don't tend to cast that often anyways. Most battles you only cast Mang about once. Maybe twice. So to waste only 1 second per battle isn't really that big a deal. Unless the brown backfires, which is the bigger part of why you don't upgrade Mang. Because for the 1 second time waste, if it didn't spawn a brown gem, I would probably actually upgrade Mang. But the biggest issue isn't necessarily the fact that it wastes about a second. The bigger issue is that it spawns one brown, and that one brown can help the enemy. And that's the main reason why you tend to not upgrade it. It can also help you though, of course. Like that one brown could help you, but the chance of it helping the enemy is way higher than helping the yourself. Because for example, one brown spawn on this board only has one particularly good spot where it would help us, and that is right there. However, it has several other locations where it would be beneficial, which would be right there for a 3, right there for a 3, right there for a 3, and right there for a 3. So that is 1 chance for an extra turn, and 5 chances where it will technically help us to some degree. However, here is everywhere where it will help the enemy. So right here is an extra turn for the enemy. Right here is an extra turn for an enemy. Right here is an extra turn for an enemy. Right here is an extra turn for an enemy. Right here is an extra turn for an enemy. And right... no, that one isn't. Is that all of them? I think that was all of them. So there's like 4 or 5 extra turns for the enemy, and only 1 extra turn for ourselves, which is the biggest issue. And that's always going to be the case. If a 1 gem spawn will always have a higher chance of giving the enemy an extra turn than giving yourself an extra turn. And that's the biggest issue with 1 gem spawn weapons. Not just Mang, but literally any of them. Is that it's actually more in favor of your enemy than yourself. While you could gain a benefit from it, like we showed it does for 5 locations, only 1 of them were an extra turn. And the enemy will always have more opportunities to gain an extra turn from a single gem spawn. Like even right here, we have 0 spots that can do an extra turn for ourselves. But there's 1, 2, only 2. But there's 2 for the enemy that would give it an extra turn, but and 0 for ourselves. So it's always in the enemy's favor. The only one exception to that would be if you're using a freeze team, then it wouldn't matter as much. But very rarely would you be using freeze on your team if you were using Mang. Oh, we'll go for a mountain there. And we'll take a brown if he lets us. And let's go for a mountain into whatever our follow-up is. Apparently no follow-up, but hopefully the mountain will give us one. Come on, where's our extra turn? Come on, doesn't even matter what it is, just need one. There we go. Oh no, it's gonna get a summon. I hate that so much. That's the only really bad thing about Urskea, is it does still have 1 summoner. I wish it had 0 summoners. Make this a lot easier. Okay, at least we got a poison, so it dies in 1 shot. And we got the summoner killed now. They always put it in 2nd slot for whatever reason too, which is probably the most annoying part about it. More so than anything. Because when it's in 2nd spot, we can't even instantly kill with a double kill. Oh wait, it's 1 red, my bad. I thought it was 1 brown. Yeah, I guess it creates 1 red. I completely forget. I just know it creates 1 gem. But yeah, it might have been red, not brown. Well, same thing I just explained, but for red. So like right here, there's 1 extra turn, 2 extra turns that the enemy could get. 1 if it spawns right there, and another if it spawns right there. Technically 3 if the AI is smart enough to drag it down. Because if a red goes there and it takes purple down, that's also an extra turn. So there's like 2.5 extra turns for the enemy, but 0 for the player. And that's always going to be the case. Like 99% of boards, there's going to be more spots where a single gem spawn will give an extra turn to the enemy than it will to yourself. The only exception to that is if there's somehow like 20 something on the board of that color, in which case it might actually help you more than the enemy. But very rarely would you be in that situation. Anything? Nope. No Cedric. I mean, we did get a Cedric. No Nyshas, I mean. We'll try 1 more chest and then probably call it a night. Oh yeah, no problem. If anyone else has any other questions, let me know. Yeah, the whole level 5 versus level 9 thing isn't too big a deal. But it's mostly just for the consistency for Guild Wars. And for other game modes where you don't want to lose, like sigil-based systems. Like, it is actually possible that if you get lucky enough, that the weapon is actually stronger when doing it with the perks. Because obviously you're getting extra out of it. However, it's just the backfiring aspect of it that is the main reason I personally don't go for it. But it is a possibility that it helps you. It's just you're putting it down to luck if you do it that way. whereas not having it makes it ever so slightly quicker and reduces the need of luck to have higher consistency. Which means you get slightly less out of it since you don't get the attack gain or whatever else Mank has that you completely forget other than the gem spawn. But you mostly just go without it for the consistency, even though you lose ever so slight benefit from it. Recommendations for 2 Gob Truffle team for new player. No Forest Trolls, no Mythics. Do you have Leprechaun yet? You can do it with a Leprechaun and just use Hero in first slot with Mountain Crusher. And use it as Titan, so you can go get Titan maxed if you haven't already. Getting Titan to level 100 is extremely important to do. You can literally use it as the only hero class you ever use because it's the best hero class in the game. Okay, so yeah, just go Mountain Crusher in first slot, set to Titan with Barrier, followed by double Gob Truffle, followed by Leprechaun. It's not the best composition you can build out of it, but for now it'll function. You have 2 mana generators, and you still have Brownstorm, which will help them get more extra turns for everything. And that'll work out pretty nice. And doesn't use any Doom weapons, doesn't use any Mythics, doesn't use any Legends that isn't a Truffle. Oh, you do have Mirage Queen? You tend to only use Mirage Queen if you can do it with Forest Troll, though. Because one of the other benefits of Mirage Queen is you can go something like Forest Troll, double Gob Truffle, and 2 Mirage Queen if you want. Which if you don't need class XP for anything, or if you don't want to get class XP for something at the moment, like if you're already going to use a hero class that's maxed anyways, like if your Titan's already 100, you could just simply do a Mirage Queen fully upgraded. But if you don't have Forest Troll, then, I don't know, I wouldn't really use the Mirage Queen method without Forest Troll on your team. I don't think it's as worth it. Because one of the whole points of Mirage Queen would be to give your entire team 50%. And while it is nice to give both the Truffles 50%, it's not as needed as, let's say, like a Dispel option off a hero, if you wanted to go down that route, like with Warden. But if you're using Hero in first slot due to not having Forest Troll, you probably want to set it as Titan. Because then you could set it to Elemental bonus, set it to Barrier. Well, you might not be able to do Elemental bonus because you don't have it at 100 yet. But use it in first slot till you have it at 100. Set it to Barrier every round. Set it to either Enrage or Explosion, depending on what kind of battle you're doing. Probably Explosion, since you're going to be looping so much. And just run that with Mountain, double Truffle, and Leprechaun. Okay, final chest. Let's get this battle done and see what we have. Oh, it's almost there then. Yeah, just use a team like that until you have it at 100. And that actually gains quite a bit of a benefit once you get it to 100. Because every extra turn you do that's specifically off the board, or basically every 4x, 5x match on the board, will end up triggering a +1 magic gain to your Gob Truffles. I really wish they would get an Elemental Hero class. The thing that would really make Truffles more broken than it's ever been since its release would be if they go and add a Elemental Hero class that's actually not useless. Because that in synergy with double Truffle is going to be insanely strong. Unfortunately, what's not insanely strong is those chest drops. Gosh, definitely not that good. But I guess we'll end it there, unfortunately. No Nyshas. But we're still on the hunt. 2 more and we're done with the Nyshas hunt for a while. And I can't wait, because then we don't need to focus on Explore as much. We're still going to be token grinding even after we have them all. However, we don't have to do it like literally every day compared to now. I might still do it every single day because it's almost become a habit now to go do it kind of a little bit, if nothing else. But we'll still need to do more. Actually, we never did do all the green kills, did we? Hold up. We might need to go a little bit longer. I could easily do those off stream though. I don't know, I guess we'll do a little bit more right now. How many greens does Urskea even have? I don't feel like it's a heavy green kingdom. But we still need like 50 more green kills. The easiest way to do this would go to a heavy green kingdom like Forest of Thorns. Do it on a low level and go farm EXP that way. So you know what? I guess we'll go do that right now. We'll go clear out this once to another chest. And then we'll go camp... Forest of Thorns for a little while. And then we'll get a bunch of kills that way of green. Because Forest of Thorns, I believe, has the highest concentration of green, if I'm not mistaken. Not 100% certain on that. I know it's really high. I'd have to go manually check them all, but I'm pretty sure Forest of Thorns is close enough. It's like 80-90% green or something. Kill that out. Alright, let's head to Forest of Thorns. Go and spam that a little. Come back to this for the last little chest. And by then, we should hopefully have enough green kills. Oh yeah, Turtle Cannon is technically a version of Forest Troll if you don't have it. However, there's no easy way to give Turtle Cannon a half mana start because it's Construct and Beast, and you normally wouldn't use it with Forest Guardian, especially if you're doing a Leprechaun team. Its ability's the same. The problem with it is you can't half mana start it properly. Because normally you'd be able to do it with a Titan or with a Mirage Queen. However, neither of those two options work on Turtle. Okay, let's go do Forest of Thorns. It should have a high concentration of green. Plus, we're on 20% right now. Oh no, do we take it for a 12? Given that it is on 20%, I think we take it for a 12 right now. How many immune to poisons do you have here? None. Okay, we're going to run Scorpius until we run into a wall, then we'll run Iron Gut. But I believe most things in this kingdom do not have immune to poison. I think only the Legend and one other thing has immune to poison in this entire kingdom. Oh, one down. And almost all of them are going to be green. None that has immune. I don't think Owl Rider does. Does Owl Rider have Impervious? I hope not. I can't remember what his traits are. No, it doesn't. Good. And luckily that elf thing only has immune to Entangle, which won't affect us at all for this battle. So how did we not get an extra turn in that? How do we still not get an extra turn in that? That's pretty unlucky. There we go, finally. Okay, I hope we get Sylvania Mora for the Legend and not Gloomleaf. But I feel like it's going to be Gloomleaf. Now let's double check. Do you have any immune to poisons here? It'll load. Iron Bark, I don't believe does. Forest of Troll definitely doesn't. Oh, yeah, we could get lucky and have a Moa replace the Legend if we see a Gloomleaf. Almost forgot about that. Now we got our mana. We don't have our extra turn yet though, so we'll just have to go for that as an option. Grab ourselves another brown to get that rolling again. We'll go double green. Hopefully leave us an extra turn. Do we have one? Nope, not even for drop. So let's go mountain that. Nice, and then start Scorpius up again. Get another destroy there. And he's dead. Do we know what will be in Soulforge tomorrow? Nope, we don't know it until it happens. Which is why we go over it every Monday. Dryad has Impervious, doesn't it? No, never mind. I thought it used to. Dryad, about 2.5 years ago, like when traits first came into the game, it had Impervious. Oh no, it might not have Impervious, but something does. The mech that just got added. Rip. Okay, hopefully we can damage it enough. Luckily it's blocked on brown right now. So I'm not sure we can press enough damage before then. We'll find out. Okay, now it's not blocked on brown, that's a problem. Especially since it still has something in front of it. Which means we can't even hit it with skulls right now. Okay, this is going to be a slight issue. Well then, let's go clear the board. Hopefully get lucky somehow. We'll take a skull. Okay, I need him not to drop. As long as he doesn't drop here, we win. Good. Wait, I don't have a quick way of killing him here, though. Scorpius that. Take our skull. Backward moment when we actually need that enrage. I think I'm going to go just take a brown just so he has no option. Oh, of course it gives him an option off the sky. I feel like exploding, but also don't feel like exploding because the chance of it backfiring is high. Okay, he can't take any brown here, so we'll just go and poke him. And now any poke will kill. I should try for this. Didn't get it. Luckily he doesn't get anything out of it either. How do we not have an option? There we go. Well, that took way longer than it should have. But down it goes. 20 ultra rares, which is enough to craft another 2 epics. No, we got a Gloomleaf. Fine, we'll use a normal team. Where's the normal team? Where's my Zugoff these days? Where's my Zugoff? Where's my Zugoff? Hold up. Do I not have a Zugoff team saved right now? Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, this was the Essence version of it. I didn't care for this one as much, I don't think. I guess we'll still go for it, though. It works. It does what it needs to for this battle. It's the easiest way to win from here. Probably just do this, get the full mana, and then just kill it that way. Or to kill it off a death mark, that works too. There we go. Another Gloomleaf, gosh. So much immune to poison. By only one troop having immune to poison. That's a lot of gnomes. Luckily that one doesn't have immune, though for this battle it wouldn't actually matter if it did. What do we want here? I need Gorgotha mana. Or Essence mana, either or. Fortunately almost none is available. There we go. Okay, now we can get things rolling. I probably should have disabled him. Well, actually, no. We can just kill him directly. I didn't care for this variant of it as much. I'm not sure what happened to my other one. I guess I overrid it when I did one of the teams for a Monday video. And just forgot to go set it back. Oh no, he died and left the thing. I need to go upgrade that thing. For those troops that do end up doing that weird summon. And that'd be dead. He has nothing he can act out of on that essence. I'm surprised they haven't done anything to rebounce that weapon. It's not like overpowered, but there are instances where it does way more value than it should. Which is really funny. It is a pretty fun weapon though, Essence of Evil that is. Well, we didn't get anything good there. Well, let's go hunt down them normally. I just did it like that because it was on 20%. But let's go kill them normally now. And by normally, I mean difficulty 3, fight, and switch it over to an explore team and just kill it out with this. Hello, Scoogs World, welcome. Okay, now let's just go quick kill these. They should hopefully die in one shot like normal. And now we just do this until we get the event done. And I think we need like 30 mark green kills or something. Yeah, we currently need 29 more green kills. Let's just do this until we get all the kills we need then. We can't pass out on that 100 gems. I know it takes a little bit longer than normal to do those. I think if you focus it down, it takes about an hour, which isn't that much time, but relative to how long it normally takes, which is 0, because if you just do your daily stuff anyways, it'll just get done automatically. But that one does take about an hour. An hour of grinding a specific kingdom that has a lot of that color. On Explore is the easiest way of doing it, just because you get a lot of that color to face. Another way to do it is do casual PvP and keep repicking until you find a team that has 3 or 4 of the color you're looking for. But normally it's better just to do exactly what we're doing right now and just instantly kill a kingdom that has a lot of that color. Because right now we're getting 3 kills per every single one of these. So right there we've got 3. I don't know why they don't show the event gems anymore. They removed it in the most recent mini patch, unfortunately. I'm not sure why they did, because they... Oh, it's actually still there! It's still there! They didn't completely remove it. They forgot. Of course they would mess that up as well. They forgot to remove it properly. But they were supposed to remove every single instance of it in the game. However, they forgot one. It actually still shows it on this page right here. Those little event gems. I don't know why they removed it though. They said it made people confused. However, I thought it made it easier to understand. Because now, how do you know that you're killing the right thing? And that it's counting? You would have to manually go over and double check the thing to see if it's counting. Yeah, it still shows up on Preview and Scout. However, it doesn't show up in game and it doesn't show up at the end of battle. So now it's even more confusing than ever. Because now it's showing up in half locations and not in everywhere else. It's supposed to not show up anywhere, though. The Snotstone. It still lives on. I still use it in the corner of every single Monday video as well. I really wish they would add it back in. Oh good, he didn't override a green. I was gonna say, stop taking away my green kills. So hopefully he'll give us something good in return. Yep, 5 gems, that's fine. If you want to keep replacing our greens for 5 gems, I am perfectly fine with that. Not their stuff anymore. Why couldn't you have done that when we were doing the poison team? Would have made things easier on us. Oh, no wonder why that one troop lived. I was like, wait, how did they live that one battle? It's because Alderfather has 25% spell reduction. However, he can only appear on the final 2 battles. On the mini boss battle and the mythic boss battle. because he's a legend, and all these 4 battles that we're doing right now can only be epics and below. But whenever Alder Father shows up, he does have 25% spell reduction. He's the only thing I believe in this kingdom with 25% reduction. Any kingdom that has a lot of 25% or has any 50% you normally would want to avoid with a team like this. First one that comes to mind is Adana and White Helm, but I believe there are a few others that are also like that. But Adana and a White Helm has the highest amount of those. Particularly White Helm. White Helm is actually the worst place ever to try doing a quick kill spell cast like this. They have, I believe, 4 or 5 troops with spell reduction, one of which has 50% spell reduction. Oh, there we go. And that's why I wanted to get done real quick. But there we go. And I guess since we're already here, we might as well do one more. And just finish out this last little one. But anyways, anyone else with any other questions? Otherwise, we'll be heading out for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. And we'll be doing Yellow Tower of Doom. And that's 2 hours prior to now tomorrow if you're watching right now. And yeah, we'll be back messing around with that. Of course, we'll go over the event video. We'll have a video going over Warlord and what's his name soon? Slayer. Though it's mostly just going to be going over Warlord because Warlord is pretty much the exact same thing. And obviously most people have Warlord upgraded while not having the Slayer upgraded, so might as well just show it that way, since it's been ages since we covered Warlord anyways. And other than that, yeah, let's have the normal event video, going over all the weekly stuff, everything in Soulforge, everything in event keys. Of course, we have a new Mythic coming next Friday, and we'll go over the new troops, though nothing really too relevant that's coming in that regard. We'll also have a Tower of Doom to mess around with, and all the loot that we get from that. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Hope you all get back safely from your travels if you're still traveling back from the holidays. And I hope you all have a wonderful Cyber Monday because I'll still be looking for some deals out there. Whatever I didn't end up picking up earlier is what I'll be picking up tomorrow. I picked up pretty much everything, but there's still some things that I wouldn't buy unless it went on a sale. Like, for example, a mini fridge. I don't need a mini fridge, but if I could get a cheap mini fridge on a sale, I'd probably consider it just to have it so we don't have to keep going all the way to the kitchen every single time I need to get something like a water or something. Just keep them stocked right over here in like arm's reach. Also, I'm getting a power socket thing with like 10 slots, and one of the issues which kept me from getting one for the longest time is I don't have that many power outlets in my room that are that accessible. But now that I'm getting like a 10 splitter for it, I should have enough power outlets, because right now I use like 7 or something, and my room has like 3 usable ones, and of course I have like a power surge thing in one, which gives me more of them. But hopefully that other one will make it so I have enough to do all these new devices, because gosh, we're starting to get a lot of technology in this room. But anyways, guys, I'll catch all of you later. Thank you so much for stopping by. Leave a like if you enjoyed the stream, and hope you all have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everyone, and we'll be back soon going over event stuff. Catch you later.